Josh from 21 Pilots. First of all, welcome back to New Zealand.
Thank you. It feels good to be back in New Zealand.
It's been a little less than a year since you were here last time. What in your life has changed since that time?
Man, honestly, it's been a pretty crazy year this year. I think since kind of releasing our new album, I think a lot of people have sort of responded and resonated in such a way that has been pretty incredible. And so I think the biggest change that we feel personally, I think, is just playing more shows and bigger shows too, which is cool. And it's kind of just, I think, a testament to people sharing the music and investing themselves and bringing people to shows. And it's kind of just become this thing that there's a video game that I used to play called Katamari Damacy. And it's like this game where you kind of start rolling up like little pieces of trash on the road or whatever, and then as it gets bigger you start rolling cars and then buildings, and then you've like created your own sort of like star or something like that. And that's like what it feels like. It feels like the people have kind of started, you know, when they share the music with somebody, it's like beginning that like rolling of a
kind of like momentum.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it's
wicked.
been pretty cool.
Awesome. So it's been a super busy year. You've done things like the iHeartRadio Music Awards. You also performed at the MTV Video Music Awards last year. Do you have kind of a highlight from that last year? Like a standout moment that was just like, this is sick?
I think the biggest thing for me is we played in Columbus, Ohio, where we're from. We played an arena that we've kind of always, you know, Tyler played basketball there when he was in high school as like a championship game or something. They were able to like go there and play it, and it's just been kind of, you know, when you grow up somewhere and there's a kind of like a landmark type place that you're kind of like, if I could ever like do this there, that would be awesome. And so for us, we played that, and it's always just cool too when our family is at the show. I remember when I was growing up, just playing drums in my parents' basement, and they're probably just so confused of what's going on down there.
What is this banging?
It's so loud and it's so obnoxious, and it doesn't. Drums out of context don't make any sense at all.
Yeah.
And especially when you're learning the drums and you're just trying to play the same thing over and over. And so now when my mom and my dad can go and see the whole thing kind of in context and in a venue like that is exciting for me.
That's
and they're
wicked.
kind of just like, I get it now. This kind of all makes sense. All these years that you were just sounded like garbage down there.
Where you're performing tonight is kind of like the New Zealand version of that. Like, it's the biggest indoor arena in New Zealand. So
That's
for
awesome.
a lot of New Zealand musicians, you're kind of like living that dream, which is exciting times for
That's
you guys.
really cool. I'm excited.
Obviously, performing your music, you would have songs that you enjoy more than others, and that will change as time goes on. For you at the moment, what is your favorite song to perform live?
Ooh, I think right now my favorite song to perform is a song called The Judge. And you're right, it does change often. Sometimes it's Heavy Dirty Soul, sometimes it's Lane Boy. Right now it's The Judge, and I've recently figured out that the bridge of that song on the drums, I can actually hit. That's the hardest that I'm able to hit in that song, just because of the way that I wrote the part, I guess. So I look forward to that every time. It's my aggression release.
Yeah. Obviously, music's been like a massive part of your life for a long time now. What was the first album you ever bought?
It's hard. Like I should remember this like clear as day. But there's two albums that come to mind, and it's between one of these for the first album that I bought. I can't remember. I remember I listened to them both a bunch. I'll go with the like slightly more embarrassing one first. It was Creed.
Gosh, that's awesome.
And you can make fun of it, but you know that was a sick album when it came out.
My first album was Hanson, so
was it really?
I'm definitely not judging.
Yeah. And then I can't remember if that was the first or the Offspring Americana. I think it was the Offspring was the first one that I got, but I can't remember now. I used to always just go into my local record store, find the most tattooed person that I could find, and have them recommend me something once a week, to buy. So a lot of times it would kind of go back and forth between old punk rock music and hip hop, or kind of, I also kind of, like the pop punk type thing I like a lot. So that was like me getting into music pretty much.
Wicked.
Yeah.
A lot of people on social media and stuff obviously tweet before the show saying that they really want to meet you and stuff like that. For them, that's like a massive buzz. Is there someone in the music industry that if you got to meet them, you would freak out about that?
Oh, wow. The cool thing, I will say the other cool thing about kind of even this past year is just festivals are one of the funnest things for us, and part of it is there's kind of a competitive nature throughout it's not really talked about. And what's cool about the music, the whole kind of like music thing, is everybody is friends and supportive, but deep down there's also kind of a competition going on a little bit. But
bit of a rivalry.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, when you're trying to kind of, you want the better stage and the better slot, and that's kind of how the festivals work. But at the same time, you are able to kind of interact with people a lot more and meet people, and so I've made a bunch of friends just through playing festivals and stuff. I think that I'm trying to think. I grew up listening to a lot of Blink, and that was like one of my favorite bands. And recently, kind of just become friends with Mark Hoppus from Blink, and that's been a cool thing for me.
Wicked.
Just somebody that I look up to a lot musically, and just as a dude. I think somebody who works hard and who loves music, and after playing for a while too, still loves it just as much as way back in the day, is cool. And I think also something I try to keep in mind is if and when I meet somebody that I look up to musically, they say never meet your idols.
Yeah.
Because chances are you could be let down. I think that as this keeps going for us, and we're able to continue playing music, if there's anybody who ever approaches me and says that they have gotten into music because of something that we've done or something that I've done, I take that pretty seriously.
Yeah.
And I want to make sure that, because I've looked up to a lot of musicians, a lot of drummers, and also just a lot of even frontmen or guitarists or whatever it is. And if I were to meet them, and the people that I have met have been pretty cool, so I would hope that somebody's interaction with me would be positive as well.
Yeah, that's such a good outlook as well. It's like people help you to get where you are, and so it's kind of cool to play it forward and help other people.
Yeah,
I guess
for
start
sure.
things up.
It's interesting because there are people who will get to a pretty high level, whether whatever they're doing, whether it's music or it's acting or some kind of art or just whatever, and then they kind of it's easy to I feel like disconnect with people who kind of admire your work in some ways, and I just don't know if that will be possible for Tyler and I think we keep such a close connection with that, and stuff that decisions that we make are directly reflective of people who follow us, our fans,
Yeah.
And I think it's
a good outlook.
Yeah, I think it's important.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
That's wicked. Speaking of fans, I've got some fan questions here for you.
Cool.
Some of them are kind of random. Maya has asked if you could steal one thing from Josh, what would you want to steal?
From Tyler?
Sorry, Tyler. Yeah.
Man, that's a good question. What would I steal? We share a lot of stuff. We we share. There's actually an Instagram account that people have like found photos of us kind of like separately wearing the same stuff.
Yeah.
We'll just like, hey man, can I wear this shirt? Oh yeah, go ahead, and we'll just. So I don't think there's anything really that I would necessarily steal from him without just being like, hey, can I use this, or can I? We're good friends.
Caring is sharing.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time today, and all the best with the show tonight.
Yeah, thank you. It's good talking to you.